Hello everyone, this is Truth and Oneness Discussions with Aquarius and
Scorpio.
There you go. So today we're going to talk a little bit about this new 13th sign in astrology. I heard about this, it was like 6 months ago, I think someone brought it up, mentioned it, and even before I knew about all the things I knew about flat earth and whatnot, but I knew immediately that it was wrong. And I still say that there's something wrong about it. Even though I can't prove it 100%, I know that it's wrong. I think they're trying to throw people off. Because I think astrology is very important to who we are as people. Mm-hmm. And I think it benefits the controllers to confuse us about, especially our astrological paths. By changing it up here and there.
Yeah.
And 13th sign is one way to do that, but...
Yeah. It's definitely pretty interesting because they definitely constantly like to remind us that astrology is not something you should care about. I mean, they pay people to write horoscopes that are BS.
Well, but the thing is like that... Yeah, but then they bring up the 13th astrology sign, so it's like, well...
Exactly.
Obviously, if it doesn't mean anything, then why even say there's a 13th astrology sign? But anyway, I did some digging on it, and some research, and there's actually two different setups, I guess you could say, that kind of change the astrological signs. One of them is the idea that the Earth's poles shift every, I think it's 72 years or something, that changes it a degree, and so that would, and I don't know when they started this. I'll put some links in the description box so I can find where I got my information from, but they say that every 72 years, and this is what I believe is called Sidereal astrology, and one of the forms of Vedic astrology follow this too, where they adjust for the pole shifts of the Earth. This one, all off the bat, if we're especially thinking about a flat Earth model, I think is completely false.
Yeah.
I mean, it can't be true. There aren't any shifting poles if the Earth is, a flat, unmovable plane, and then the sky sort of is rotating above it. So that one, I think, is completely false. And then this whole 13th sign thing, where looking into the history of that. Basically, we have the constellations that are all throughout the sky, the fixed star constellations. But then the zodiac signs are sort of a complete, a category of their own. And there have always been, for the most part, even in ancient
cosmology,
a lot of ancient cultures, been 12 signs, from what I can find so far.
Yeah.
Okay, I still have to do some digging, but... So it's sort of like the set, and it goes with a lot of it, matches up with, it just makes things very orderly and mathematically balanced and so as far as I can see, there's been always 12 signs, right? And these 12 astrological zodiac signs are not really in the same category as the fixed star constellations. So they're along the zodiac chain, or I guess the sun's path as it goes through the zodiac chain. There's other constellations that kind of dip in and out, and maybe the sun maybe touches the corner of it or whatever. And so that's kind of what this new 13th sign is Ophiuchus, I believe it's called.
I think so.
Something like that. And so they say, well, this one, dips into, the sun's path, the end of Libra and the beginning of Scorpio. So this is actually a whole sign in its own. And the astrologers are saying that, well, it's always been there, but it's never been considered a zodiac constellation or a zodiac. It's never been considered part of astrology, and the reason for that is that it's just not part of the astrological signs.
Yeah, it's just not significant.
Well, it's not that it's not significant. It's just it's not part of the 12 zodiac. It's almost like, in the beginning, this is what we were giving. There's 12 zodiac signs, okay? Yes, there's other constellations that are in the sky that, like I said, may touch here and there in the sun's path, but they're not part of the 12 zodiac constellations. So
Okay.
So from that point of view, that makes sense to me. And then looking at it too, and that's not the only one that kind of like sort of touches in the zodiac area. But again, it goes back to, it doesn't matter because these are fixed star constellations which have always been and which are separate from what the zodiac have been considered to be, right? The zodiac signs. So they're separate, two separate things, and that's just it. But what's interesting too, because I was thinking that I would think, so maybe any sign that so instead of saying, I mean, I don't want to say it because it's not irrelevant, obviously, but like if the sun does go through that area, the energy of that particular ophiuchus or 13th sign is probably weighs in on the Scorpio, whoever the Scorpio person is during that time period, and so it's already been sort of calculated in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I thought I was thinking about it from that standpoint. It was kind of interesting too, but yeah, but I don't think there's any reason to add that in and then shift all of the zodiac signs, because I don't think they've moved. No. Because we're on a fixed plane, and that's just the way it is.
It's kind of interesting too, because it's like, obviously it's like, with it being like this new thing, it's like, okay, they already know that there's 4 seasons. They already know there's 12 months. They already know that there's 12, zodiacs. Then all of a sudden there's 13. It's like, okay, so it's like everything fixes and matches up pretty systematically with mathematics and everything like that. It's all very calculated out. Then they throw in a whole like new thing, 13. It's like it just, and then when you look at the numbers, how they shift, it's like almost every zodiac is around the same amount of time. It's about 20 to 30 days, or whatever. But then Ophiuchus or whatever is like, is like what, 6 or 7 days.
I have to relook at that, but I think it makes Scorpio the short one.
Oh, is it Scorpio the short one? But yeah, it's just kind of silly. It's like, so all of them are like pretty close, and then all of a sudden there's 2 of them that are just way different.
Well, because the thing is that the sun is supposed to spend 30 days in each sign.
Yeah.
Or it does spend 30 days in each sign, just like the moon spends, I think, roughly about 2 days in each sign.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's not like a cycle where the moon spends like 6 days in one sign and then like 1 day in another one. It's like, it's very systematic and very, very orderly, and I think that points to, the intelligence behind this whole design. And I think trying to throw in a 13th sign, or even trying to say that, every 72 years there's a degree difference in the signs, I think that just sort of, it confuses people, but it also kind of takes away from like the importance of this whole setup. At least that's what I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
And obviously they're doing it because they're trying to confuse people. Yeah. Obviously, because like I said, learning.
It was like when NASA came out with, was like talking about the 13th side, didn't they?
Well, they're the ones that I think started putting it out there. Yeah.
It's like so interesting, right? The ones that are talking about this, that's trying to control everybody, and this idea that we go out into space is like, hey, everybody, we don't believe in any of this stuff.
Well, they flat out say that, they don't believe in astrology, it's nonsense. But there's a 13th zodiac sign, just so everyone knows. It's like, well, why is that even important to you if you don't believe in astrology, right? So, but yeah, no, it just, the whole thing points to BS, the whole 13th sign, and then even the degree shift, all of it, I think, is complete BS. But like I said, I can't prove it 100% without going out there and trying to like chart the sun's path through the sky myself. Every night look at the sky. But and I might actually do that one day. But from how it feels, it just seems like knowing that the Earth's flat, and knowing that there's obviously intelligent design or consciousness behind all this. And everything seems to be very orderly, and there's a mathematical orderliness to everything too. That helps for me at least support.
It's definitely good supporting evidence.
Yeah. And anyway, like, and if there was this whole shifting or whatever, like, that would make me a Capricorn instead of an Aquarius, and you be a Libra.
Yeah. And then it's funny, like, what was the description? The Libra, it would say something like, it's almost exactly the same as a Scorpio was before.
Well, that depends on who you're reading, too.
It's funny.
Yeah. They all say something a little different.
Don't get caught up in the BS.
don't get caught up in the BS. The zodiac signs that follow the whole sun in every sign for about roughly 30 days. And no adjustment for the degree or the pole shift of the Earth. That one, I believe, what is it, the tropical? I believe they call it the tropical or Western astrology, just the normal set one. That's the one we need. And then even the Vedic system before, the one that doesn't adjust for the pole shifts or whatever. Those are the ones we need to pay attention to and follow, and or those are I think the true ones. The other ones are just distractions and to kind of throw people off, I believe. But yeah, it's very interesting stuff. And I am not a Capricorn, by the way. There's no freaking way I'm a Capricorn. That would not make any sense. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah.
But astrology is very interesting.
It's definitely interesting. I remember when you were first telling me about it, I was like, oh, I've heard of it. I've seen horoscopes. It's interesting. And then actually going deeper into it, then I was like, wow, when you actually go beyond just the sun sign or your rising sign,
yeah,
it is very interesting.
All the houses and everything.
It's like I was reading through it, and I was like, wow, this sounds just like me. I was like, then I was reading the other signs. I was like, well, maybe it's like a roundabout way. There's like other ones that talk about me as well if I put them in those boxes and houses. And it's like, no, they didn't match.
It's very interesting. It's a very interesting field of study that does not change every 72 years, and it has not all of a sudden shifted now that they found a 13th, or they added a 13th sign in again, which is, well, like I said, we've been through that already. But anyway, I also found a video. I'll post it, if I can find it again, post it in the description link. This one person who knows about flat Earth has basically how the rotation of the sky dome, or whatever you want to call it, over the Earth, how it's set up to where it just rotates, and how the sun and the moon rotate around it. And that looked completely, like, that was pretty right on as far as I could tell. I mean, I don't have a lot of what to compare it to, but that made a lot of sense to me. And it also supports the whole, the zodiac is what it is. It's not changing because it's very systematic, and it just goes at a certain rotation that doesn't change. But anyway, so I'll post that in the description link too, so people can look at that. But anyway, I think unless you have anything else to add to that.
I think it's also interesting when you guys think about this. Think about the ending of the word astrology. Biology, astrology, all these things are like a set thing that a lot of people, especially a lot of old warlords and everyone like that, even to this day, like a lot of presidents will have astrologers as part of their cabinet and everything. So it's like, think about that when you think about astronomy, which is not really a true science. So just something to think about also.
Are you talking about the root word in it?
Mm-hmm. So
yeah.
It's very interesting. It's the study of... Astronomy is not the study of... It's like just some crazy thing people made up. So like, especially when you go through my college astronomy book, it's like, it's just a bunch of just theoretical nonsense.
BS.
It's only can be proven by the formulas they already have in there, but you can't just create your own formula.
It can be proven by all the pictures they've drawn too.
Yeah, exactly. It's like every single picture this is not the scale, or this is not the actual picture. It says it by every single picture. I'm like, so what am I looking at then? What am I studying? Cartoons?
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah. Yes, obviously astrology is a real thing, and it's the same as it's always been. There hasn't been any change to it as far as I can tell. And any changes that NASA or whoever else wants to, bring up is likely false. They're trying to throw people off, and I think people who, the whole, it shifts a degree every 72 years, they are just trying to rationalize in their head, because they're coming from a standpoint of an Earth that's spinning and doing this pole shift thing or whatever. But see, they don't get it. That's all. They don't get it yet. But anyway, that's anything else we want to add to that?
That's all I got for it at the moment.
Okay, cool. Well, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, and astrology is important, but the BS is not important. All right. Thanks for listening.
All right, everybody. Yeah, it goes until I have to pull this thing back.
you like just kept saying stupid. Like I don't know where you were like.
Don't worry about what I say, Yasmin. I can be